I'm here with Simon Raik-Allen, MYOB's Chief Technology Officer. We've just been talking about some interesting stuff, such as Australian small businesses' fear of the cloud. Now, you just ran a survey, and what was the outcome?
So yeah, we run a survey every couple of months. We run one, and this time we ran it on the cloud, and we asked small to medium enterprise, 1,100 of them, are they using the cloud and how they feel about it. And so it turns out that 20% are using the cloud, and of the 80% who are not, the number one barrier was just simply fear of the unknown. So they don't understand the issues that are related to how to choose cloud and what's all involved in the whole selection. So they just feel uncomfortable. What
was really interesting was how well the 20% who were using the cloud were doing. You had some statistics which indicated their businesses were thriving.
Yeah, of those who do use the cloud, 53% of them had an increase in revenue in the last financial year, and 55% have a bigger than usual pipeline of work right now for their next 3 months of work.
Very compelling statistics. So if you're afraid of the cloud, well, firstly, let's try and define it. What do you say when someone says, "What's the cloud mean to you, Simon?" Many different definitions out there. I think we're on the same page, but what do you think what do you define it as?
It is a hard one. There are many definitions. So I say that the cloud is when you are using technology that is hosted outside your company. So if you normally had software to run your business and used to have it inside, if you're using it from outside, either in a data center or in a public cloud vendor, then you're using the cloud.
So for my website is not hosted on a server in a back room in my office somewhere. My website is hosted with Orion VM. I use Gmail for email, so that there is hosted on a Google server. They're both uses of the cloud?
Yeah. I mean, so if you have your servers elsewhere, like you are with Gmail, your email is somewhere else, not in your organization, then you're using a cloud service.
So the main fear, I'd imagine, is the security of your data. If it's not with you, it must therefore be insecure. Do you think that's a real risk or a perceived risk?
So certainly that is an issue that people came up with. About half the people who are not using cloud cited the safety of their data as an issue of why they're not there yet on the cloud. Certainly, each business needs to look at what's important for them with their security. So what data do they have, what data is important to them, and where is it being stored? So definitely it's an education thing that people should go and investigate the issues. When you're picking a big vendor and you're picking something like Microsoft, you can look at some wonderful things that they're doing around security of their data center to look after your data. So.
Well, I always find it very strange when I meet someone and they say, "I don't believe in the cloud because I worry about the security of my data." And I say, "Where do you keep it now?" And they say, "Oh, it's all on my laptop." And I wonder what's more secure, someone's data held in a security encrypted bunker somewhere on the other side of the world protected by millions of dollars worth of technology, or this person, and I'm actually thinking of my dad's laptop sitting in the spare bedroom, ready to be stolen.
I would ask your dad, how many security experts does he employ to look after his data?
His son. Which means that his business is in dire shape.
If you look at what's important to a business, I think one of the biggest things is their email. I mean, how much of your competitive information do you keep in your email? So that's already leaving your business.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the cloud is basically if you're hosting your data elsewhere. Many of the fears to me seem a little bit unfounded. MYOB have just done something that's, I think it's a little bit radical. MYOB products have been around for about 21 years, is that about right? 21 years?
Yep.
About 70% of the small businesses in Australia have an MYOB product.
That's correct.
We've just learned that 80% of them are afraid to use the cloud. So how are you introducing the cloud to your particular products?
So what we are doing is, rather than, small business are time poor, right? And usually the founder, the owner is the CEO, the CFO, and the CIO. And so they're very time poor. So learning new systems is hard and a real barrier to entry. So what we're doing for our account rights suite is we are bringing the cloud to the desktop. So we've basically taken the desktop product that people know and love for the last 21 years, and we've cloud enabled it so that you can launch your software as you would today, as you would normally, and you just start working, and your data is now being shared in the cloud with your business partners.
And from what I gather, it's a lot like Dropbox, where you have it stored on your desktop, which makes a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable, but then it synchronizes with the internet when you're attached to the internet, and that, in theory, can help avoid conflicts and duplications, but it can also sometimes, two people create the same document in Dropbox twice, or two people edit it, and you end up with a conflicted document. How are you getting around that one?
So we don't have conflicts at this stage with our model. So while you're in the cloud and working against the cloud, the data and the algorithms are all in the cloud. And then you're working just like it would be actually like a website. But then you can choose to go offline. And when you go offline, the cloud goes into read-only mode. And so that avoids conflicts. So everyone else can still see the data, you can still report on it. And then when you check back in, it syncs the data back up and then opens the cloud again for read-write.
That makes a lot of sense. I actually wish Dropbox would do that. So like on an upbeat note, for those people who are not using the cloud, and there's the 20% who are, that are doing well, why do you think that those guys are experiencing significant revenue growth in comparison to people who are not using the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of growth there, and we're seeing some big numbers coming out of those guys. I don't know the reason why that is so advantageous. Obviously, the ease of use and the flexibility and the anywhere access, and you can be on the road and you can have your business partners be half in the office, you can have your partner at home working. I think it adds a lot to the productivity of a business, and that's probably one of the drivers for why it's been so good for revenue.
Efficiency. Thanks so much, Simon. So if you're not on the cloud, check out the cloud, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like a sensible thing to do. Signing off.